Yep, and they're attached.
Okay. There we go.
All right. Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, ready. Oh. Before we go on the record, I want to make sure that everyone knows that we need your phones off. If your phone rings, we'll ask you to leave, and then you won't be allowed back in here. And if you're in, you stay in, and it's not up and down and back and forth until the sentencing is over. We had a jury trial on this, and I appreciate all of the audience at that time cooperating, and I would ask that you continue to cooperate because these are emotional sentencings, and I can't have the outburst in the courtroom. We are on the record with file 235322-FC. Could you state your name for the record, please?
Amir Petty.
Thank you. This is date time set for sentencing. Ms. Norton, have you had an opportunity to review the pre-sentence report?
I have, Your Honor. The only change I have is that on page 5, under gang involvement narrative, it indicates defendant has not been identified with any gang affiliations. During the course of the trial, there was several pieces of evidence, testimony, as well as a gang expert that discussed the defendant's involvement in Trouble Gang, which is a local sub-gang, I believe a derivative of eventually the Bloods.
So what are you asking?
I'm asking for it to reflect that he does have gang affiliation involvement with Trouble Gang.
Your Honor, my client states he's not a part of any gang. He has never been a part of a gang. He had a group of friends that messaged with each other and hung out and made music of that nature. He's never been affiliated with any gang.
It was in the jury trial, it did come out that he was affiliated with the Trouble Gang, so I'll have that change.
No other changes?
That the defendant has been associated with gang affiliation.
Yes.
Any other additions or corrections?
None from the people.
Mr. LaPre, have you had an opportunity to review the pre-sentence report?
I have.
Any additions or corrections?
None.
And Mr. Petty, have you had an opportunity to review the pre-sentence report?
No.
Well, you review that. Probation, I have jail credits, 855 all the way through. I don't think that can be a possibility because one of them is an automatic 2 years to 2 years. Charge 4 and charge 5 are the ones that are felony firearms that are the 2-year mandatory. So is there a reason why there's 855 days on all of them?
I'll overlook it myself, Your Honor. I can make some new calculations while you continue.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have you had an opportunity to review the pre-sentence report with your attorney?
He has not. As soon as the trial was over with, the Department of Corrections picked him up. And took him to Aguilar Reception Center. I don't know why they took him, quite frankly. He never did a plea on a probation violation or anything, so I'm not sure why.
They do that now if you're convicted, so.
Yeah, and I was unable to get a hold of him. We did mail the pre-sentence report to him, and it never made it to him, so he has not read it.
All right, so give him a few minutes.
front to
Let's
one.
go to the, we take him in the back so he can read that real quick.
what a bond we can do.
I don't know.
Jimmy and I.
All rise. 14th Circuit Court resumes. Please be seated.
We are back on the record. Mr. Petty, did you have an opportunity to go through that pre-sentence report with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And the probation, check the numbers on this. The charge one should have 125 days instead of 855. Charge two should have 125. Charge three should have 855. Charge four and charge five should have 730. Because charge 4, 5 must be served consecutive and prior to charge 1 and charge 2, but concurrent with charge 3. Ms. Norton, anything you'd like to say before sentencing?
I do have a victim here that would like to speak.
I did also receive several letters that I have reviewed and read that are attached to the pre-sentence report.
Thank you. There was one that came in late, but our victim advocate is going to send that to the MDOC.
Thank you. Thank you. Could you state your name for the record, please?
Aisha Burse.
And Ms. Burse, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Aisha Burse. To the Honorable Judge Smelly, I'm writing this letter on behalf of my brother Jamarr Burse. My name is Aisha Burse. I'm here to speak on behalf of my family in the memory of my youngest brother, Jamarr Burse. I am the oldest sibling of 3 children. My mom, Darlisha Buchanan, and Ontario Burse Sr. made together. It has always been us 3. They have always been the center of my life. During the marriage between our parents, they created me first, my brother Ontario Burse Jr., and the baby of us 3, Jamarr Burse. He was the cutest, happiest, most handsome baby boy I had ever seen in my life. He had long hair and the biggest smile. He came up out of my mom laughing and giggling all the time. He stuck to me like glue our whole life.
Go ahead.
We all grew up.
They can't hear.
Family
Oh. It's up to you. It doesn't amplify, and she's got a soft voice, so.
We all grew up in a loving, family-oriented, peaceful dynamic. Our childhood is one I will never forget. My parents taught us how to be strong-minded, how to stick together through every situation, and how to stand up for ourselves and each other. They preached independence and resilience into us. They also taught us to never give up and how to overcome every obstacle that would be thrown at us. Our parents worked hard to give us everything we wanted. We definitely had to work for it. For me, it was getting good grades, cleaning up when I came home from school, and preparing dinner for the family. For my brother Ontario, It was to be active as possible and making sure Jamarr was always looked after. For Jamarr, it was being the happiest, most playful jokester he could be. He had no worries. A lot of times my brother Ontario wanted his own space, and Jamarr ended up with me. I didn't mind most times because Jamarr was my protector. Jamarr was my confidant and also my best friend. Jamarr did not play about his big sister, and I loved it. She took him everywhere with her. She told him everything, and he confided in her about everything. Jamarr was not perfect, but he knew that no matter what the situation was, she always had his back, right or wrong. Aisha will always come to the rescue of her brother in any situation at any given time of day. He was the first child. Jamarr, he was her first child. Jamarr always had a joke to tell to make everybody laugh. He wasn't even funny most times. He just thought he was. This made his personality the biggest in the room. One of their dad's favorite quotes to him was, "Boy, stop playing all the time." I remember times from the childhood when their dad would make us race from our childhood home to the corner store to win money to go in the pockets for the weekend. Jamarr would always find a way to cheat and began the race before their dad started it. He always ended up with the money, and Aisha always took it from him and brought them something back from the store. He was the baby. He was her baby. Aisha would give him the world. Wanted the very best, everything for him. He probably knew it, but she saw so much potential in him that she didn't think that he could see in himself. Being with their mom, dad, and two brothers made them feel like they were unstoppable. The love from our family shared together made them a force to not be reckoned with. Them was the happiest days of their life. In 2014, my brother and I lost our dad to brain cancer. 2 years later, in 2016, our mom passed unexpectedly in her sleep. That took a deep toll on our lives. We never had to go through life without one or the other. We had always been together, and now two of the main people who made us who we were gone. Me being the oldest, that was the first time in my life I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to turn to. We had family, but no one to love us unconditionally like our parents did. No one to give us guidance anymore. I just knew I had to take care of my brothers. That's what I know my mom and dad wanted me to do. Jamarr was the baby of us three, and he became the comfort, humor, and healing for myself, my granny Gertha, my brother Ontario, and my children after losing our parents. He was only 16 years old when he lost our dad, and 18 years old when we lost our mom. We all took what was happening to us differently, but to this day, I believe Jamarr was the most affected. He started looking for love he was missing within the streets and his friends. I remember telling him, "You act like you love your friends more than you do me, and I raised you." He was changing in front of me, and I was so numb from my own pain that I didn't realize all he wanted was his family back, like it was before we lost our mom and dad. On December 29th, 2022, 4 days after Christmas, I received a call that my brother Jamarr had been shot and was laying in the middle of the street. My heart immediately shattered. My body went numb. My stomach dropped to the ground. I could not think. I couldn't feel. I felt like I could not breathe. I panicked. I ran out of the house with whatever I had on and left my children in the house. Only thing I could think of was, "Jamarr, I'm coming. Please, 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 Lord, wrap your arms around my brother until I get there." It's all I kept saying and praying as I drove to the crime scene. "Please, Jamarr, hold on. I'm coming," is all I kept telling myself. My leg was shaking. My whole body was shaking. I could barely keep my foot on the pedal of the car. I remember feeling the same when I was on my way to get to my mom's house the day she passed. I turned the corner right before reaching the store where my brother was murdered, and all I saw was his car with the door open and tape all around it. Ambulance and police swarming the scene. I instantly screamed. I don't think I put my car in park before I jumped out the car and tried to run to my brother. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Was I dreaming? Is this happening right now? This can't be my brother. I know this is not my brother. Please, God, please. God, no, is all I remember screaming. I tried to get to him so bad, and the police just kept grabbing me and pulling me, standing around doing nothing. Sometimes in my head, or when I feel the need to blame someone else besides the murderer, I blame the cops for doing more standing around than trying to help my brother get to the hospital. My family was standing out there trying to get my attention. I didn't see anyone but my brother in the bottom of his boot laying on the ground with the cover on top of him. How could the police not let me see him? How do they even know if it's him if I cannot identify him? I was in denial. My brother needed me. I thought if they let me get to him, he would be okay. That was the worst day of my life. The worst feeling I have ever felt in my life. It all felt so unreal, and I couldn't process what was happening. I didn't understand why this was happening to me again, to me and my family again. I saw red. I didn't want nobody talking to me, nobody touching me, nobody grabbing me or hugging me. Why, Lord? That was the beginning of the grief of my life, of a lifetime. After standing outside for hours waiting and hoping they would let me see my brother, I realized I had to get home to my kids. How would I tell my children what had just happened to their uncle? Jamarr adored his nieces. How was I going to tell them they would never see him again? We saw him every day. How do I tell them he won't be coming ringing the doorbell nonstop until we answer? How do I tell them he won't be coming back to make them laugh for the day or even teach them how to stand up for themselves like my mom and dad taught us? He did all that. He kept the family laughing when we were down and dancing to all the newest songs. I could not even talk or hold my head up. My daughters couldn't talk. They didn't want to go to school. We couldn't feel anything. My whole heart felt ripped and thrown on the ground. I couldn't do it. I couldn't face my children with that type of news. I didn't know how to feel. I feel like I couldn't show my face outside. I didn't want sympathy. I wanted my brother. I laid on the floor for days screaming, kicking, crying to the top of my lungs like a toddler child having a tantrum. I took over 3 months off work because I couldn't keep myself together. I couldn't keep myself together long enough to make it through the day. My kids missed so many days of school because everyone knew what had happened, and they didn't want to talk about it. I had never felt this type of pain. Losing my parents hurt me, but this pain was so different. It hurted so much worse. I was so broken inside and out. I wanted revenge. I wanted justice. I wanted somebody to do something and to do something right then. I couldn't sleep, and when I did, I woke up in puddles of tears, red swollen eyelids, and my 32nd birthday was 5 days after I lost my brother. That was the worst birthday of my life. Not only did I feel like I was dying inside, but I looked like it. How could I celebrate my birthday when I had to bury my baby brother? I knew I must pull myself together and come up with the money to bury my baby brother for my birthday. I wasn't even working at the time. I had to pay bills, and they were piling up. I didn't even notice. I also had to plan my brother's funeral with no mom or dad to help me. I was drowning in grief. After I buried my brother, it seemed like the world kept going while me and my family's pain had just begun. My life changed tremendously after losing my brother. My brother, Ontario, and I were mad at everyone around us. I couldn't focus on my children's needs when they also needed me. They were grieving too. The people I loved the most, I began pushing them away. I was mad at everyone involved in any way. I began losing trust in everyone. I thought everyone was against me and my family. I wanted to blame everyone. At some point, me and my brother started being mad at my family members for not helping us when we needed it. He often told me, I can't believe none of the family has called our phone offering help. We need it. We felt alone and still do most days. I cried for days and nights when I lost my brother. I began to break down randomly in public. I was so lost and confused. I needed answers and peace. When I finally started to get answers and heard who had done it to my brother, it had just made everything much worse. Someone who we took in and let live with us had did this to us. somebody who my brother introduced me and my kids to as his brother friend did this to him. I was so mad. How could he do that to us? Why would he do that to us? He knows what we have been through. Jamarr fed him. Jamarr helped put clothes on his back. Jamarr showed him how to defend himself and even be half of a man. I brought him around my kids. How dare he do this to us? To put the icing on everything that happened. The two people involved have been around us the whole time. The driver of the car who killed my brother was one of my best friend's brother. I couldn't believe what was happening. I didn't understand what I did so badly in this world for this to be happening to me. That only made my paranoid and made my anxiety 20 times worse. I developed PTSD from people I love being around me and crossing me. Then I started thinking these people know where I live. They know what my car looked like. I was scared for myself and my kids. My kids can't go outside and play. My kids can't go around anyone in Muskegon because everyone involved is connected to us in some way. How do we move forward from that? Where do we begin to put our life back together? I wanted to give up on everything. I knew I had to leave or I would be away from my kids sooner than later. I decided to go to therapy to try to make sense of everything. I went to 2 different therapists before I found one who could relate to what I was going through. She helped me realize that my life was not done and I still had to live with my children. That's when I packed my kids up and we left Muskegon. Your Honor, I pray constantly for protection over my family, that we remain covered by the blood of Jesus and shielded from the evil, envious, and destructive spirits that plague the world. My hope and prayer is that justice is served. All these events happened to me from just this one incident. I hope my family gets the justice we deserve for all the pain we have endured over the past 10 years. All the silent suffering we have to go through for the times we wanted to stand up and fight back against negativity and pain but couldn't due to lack of support and realizing you can't take on and fight the whole world alone. You never know why God places some people in your life. The person you care for today could be the person who destroys your life tomorrow. To this day, we are not okay. We will never be okay without my brother. To this day, I have trust issues and abandonment issues. To this day, I cry myself to sleep. Even in my dreams, I cry for my brother. That's the only time I can touch my brother's face and hear him call my name. I know my brother misses me. He tells me in my dreams all the time. Today, I pray the truth of my brother's character is honored and that his life is valued in your courtroom as deeply as it was valued by all those who loved him. To Amir Petty, my brother was one of a kind. They don't make men like him anymore. Everybody loves Jamarr. Everybody wanted to be as genuine and outgoing as Jamarr. He was and still is that guy that you could never be. He would give his last to anyone he loved and then find a way to get it back tomorrow. There was nothing fake, flawed, or scary about him, and that's why you hated my brother. You knew that. You could never be like him on your best day. No one will respect you like they did my brother. Jamarr was fearless. My brother had a lot of life to live and a lot of the world left to see and a lot of things to accomplish. You took that from him. His life was stolen from us in an act of violence that should have never even happened to him. His future, his dreams, his love for his family, all taken away. He was only 24 years old when you took him away from us. He had goals. He wanted his own business and making a living being his own boss. I'll never see him or talk to him again. I will never be able to see him grow into the man he was meant to be. I could never get a niece or nephew from him. I could never see him love a woman how my father taught him to. You took my brother away from me. You took my kid's uncle away from them. That was my son. I raised him. His aura is like no other, and that's something you will never be able to take. Amir, I hope today you realize what you have taken from my family and the heartache you have caused. I have no sympathy for you or what will happen to you in the next chapter of your life. Jamarr is one of God's favorites, and no weapon formed against him will prosper. His name and spirit will forever live on. To my baby brother, Jamarr, we love you. We miss you. I hate this happened to you. I hate that I couldn't save you. I will never forget you, and I always will scream your name. You're forever in my heart and thoughts daily. It's going to always be me, be you for me. Today, tomorrow, forever. I got you forever in the day. and I'll see you on the other side. Sincerely, Jamar's big sister, Aisha Burse.
Thank you. Ms. Norton, would you like to say anything further?
Briefly, Judge, I think those victim impact statements are so important because when we're preparing for the trial and going through the evidence in the trial, so much focus is on the offender and who did this and why, and we don't actually get to hear a lot about Jamarr. And I think that this is a really important piece, obviously for the healing of the family, but just to honor, as Aisha said, honor the value of his life, that this was about him. And so much of it up until now has just been talk about Amir. And so I think that I'm so grateful. I know Aisha was not sure if she was gonna read it or if she wanted me to, and I'm so grateful that she read it. I'm also very grateful for the men and women of the Norton Shores Police Department that worked so hard. I know they're here, and they have literally, the fact that they're even here today, they have saw this case through all the way to the end and spent hours away from their family, especially Detective Sergeant Visser, to make sure that there was justice for Jamarr. So I'm so grateful for that. I think what's most shocking about this case is that we saw from the video is just how senseless it was. There wasn't self-defense, there wasn't a fight, there wasn't even an altercation. It was literally someone that saw an opportunity to go kill this person that used to be their friend. I heard they used to do slumber parties together. They have things in common, like they both lost their parents. And what is even more senseless to me is that nobody understands how unnecessary a killing like this is than Amir. I was the prosecutor on the case when Amir was a juvenile and he lost his best friend, someone that he considered a brother, over a struggle over a gun. And I know in that moment, he never would have wanted his friend to die. And that was when he was young. And I sat review after review, and he went to residential placement, and he came back, and I remember that review that he came back, and I sat next to him and I said, this is your fork in the road. This is your choice. That you either go in that direction where you go back into the streets or you choose a different path. He chose this path. He chose this. He chose to go back to the gun-filled streets. He chose to participate in the senseless violence. So now Amir gets to be a cautionary tale. He is now just a cautionary tale to the community that every person in this community that's going to engage in this type of senseless violence, we're going to find you and we're going to hold you accountable, just like we did Amir.
Thank you. Mr. LaPrey, anything you'd like to say before sentencing?
What can I say, Your Honor? I mean, Ms. Norton's right. I mean, it's a tragic event. There's no winners on either side. You know, this young man, because of some gun violence, has died, and he shouldn't have. Of course, you know, his family is going through a lot. I can't imagine the pain and suffering they're going through. I mean, certainly that's not death to me. My heart goes out to the family involved in this case. And while we respect the jury's verdict in this case, however, you know, my client would disagree with that, obviously. The statutory requirement for sentence, it has to be imposed. So, you know, I'm hoping that he can move forward in life, he can move forward with the appellate process, and hopefully that will be successful for him. That would conclude my comments.
Thank you. Mr. Petty, anything you'd like to say before sentencing?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
She just lied on that statement saying that she talked to me prior to the incident with my best friend. Never talked to that lady a day in my life. Never knew her, never until now. Just how she been lying this whole case. That's it.
Thank you. Can't imagine the horror and the grief especially a sister that brings up her brother as her own because of her parents passing, to see him lying there and to have to deal with that and to have to deal with that process. It seems like you've now taken those steps. You're now getting stronger. You were able, as the prosecutor said, it's best that you say those statements. You talk about your brother because it comes from the heart and it only explains him the way you can explain him, and nobody else could have read that like you. Sorry for your loss. It's senseless. Nobody ever wins in these cases. And the gun violence it's in our community, and until people learn that this is not the way to handle it, it will continue to plague our communities. Be the sentence of the court on charge 4 and charge 5. 2 years to 2 years at the Michigan Department of Corrections with 730 days credit. $68 state charge per charge. As to charge 3, $855 days with 855 days credit. $68 state charge. As to charge 2, $5 years to 7.5 years. The 125 days credit, $68 state charge. As to charge 1, be life without the possibility of parole. 125 days credit. Charge 1 and charge 2 must be served after and consecutive to anything on charge 4 and charge 5. $130 crime victim fund. Probation, did I miss anything?
No, Your Honor, I believe you did.
You have the right to file an application for leave to appeal your conviction and sentence. If you are financially unable to afford an attorney, one would be appointed for you at public expense. You have 42 days from today's date to appeal. Anything further?
Nothing further from people.
Thank you. We are off the record.
Good.